Don't look at me like that. So that was a new intro, and I made it with the help of, this guy on YouTube, his templates. So basically, right now you see I'm having a new point of view. I'm testing the DJI Osmo 4K cam that I just recently got. It's a 4K cam with a stabilizer. So just trying to see how it goes on a motorcycle. Doesn't seem like it's a very good thing for, if you've got no hands to manually check on it. This thing is a bit of a, it's pretty iffy with the gimbal, the orientation, especially when you're moving fast on a motorcycle. So anyway, if you've been following me for the past few months, or at least a year or so, you would notice that I've been in the market for a DRZ 400 SM, and it's not been without issues. Honestly speaking, I had a lot of problems trying to find the bike that I want, and this has led me to talk about why I hate dealerships in general in Singapore. I'm not talking about distributors, those big companies that do come here and have a distributorship, or those workshops that only services and repairs bikes, or even car dealers. I have no problems with car dealers before. This is specifically motorcycle dealers that are not, those what do you call them, sole proprietorships. Those guys are a big ass problem, honestly speaking. This camera is gonna be out of focus every once in a while, I bet, and I don't have the time or the hands to be focusing it, so just think of it as, you're gonna look at the scenery behind me. Okay, anyway, I was talking about why I hate dealerships. It really pisses me off a lot, seriously. I've been trying to find a bike that I want with as little problems as I could, but it just seems that it's not gonna happen. There's definitely gonna be an issue here and there, and it really stems from the fact that every single dealer that I've dealt with so far has been pretty shady. Alright, I've looked at about 5 bikes. Out of 5, 3 had serious mechanical problems that I wish they had fixed. It's rideable, but it is not to the standard that I would expect when I want to buy a bike from a dealer. I mean, come on! Sure, you have bought it secondhand from some other bloke, but you are a workshop. Couldn't you have fixed the bloody damn thing before you tried and sell it off to someone else? Okay, so out of 5, 3 were totally unacceptable. The other 2, well, they were probably acceptable, and you don't even know if it's gonna be workable or not down the lane, maybe 6 months to a year after you purchase it, because a lot of faults when it comes to motorcycles, cars, vehicles in general, you will never know. Issues can be easily hidden, and these workshops, they hide them, and you don't know until you've run them hard for 6 months. So even if you could find a machine that you actually are satisfied with, oh no, your problems aren't going to end there. Here comes the sharks. Okay, these salesmen, I would say they are the most professional people that I've ever met. They really know what the hell they are doing, man. I have a FZ16. Okay, it was registered in 2012, and I'm looking for a DRZ 400SM, probably somewhere between a 2008 to a 2011 model. So if it was a 2008 model, most likely I'm gonna expect about 7,000 Sing dollars, which is what they're selling for anyway, 7,000. And if they are selling an FZ16 that is the same as what I have, it's going to be 7,000 anyway. So it's supposed to be same price, right? Wrong. They are going to sell it to you after trading in, okay, for another 3 to 4 grand. Okay, why the hell am I giving you a $7,000 bike in exchange for another $7,000 bike, and you are still charging me $4,000 on top of that? Well, I get that you are a business, you still have to turn a profit on every sale you make, but 4 grand? What the fuck are you talking about? Maybe if you gave me the bike for another 1 grand or 2 grand, I'd be understanding about it, but 4 grand, what the fuck? Okay, and that isn't the end of my gripes with dealerships in Singapore. Okay, after you have chosen the bike, I mean, I haven't even chosen the bike, but I know because I've bought bikes before. Okay, they have hidden costs that they don't even talk about up front. Even if you ask for it, they'll just lie and say, oh, there's this cost, but they'll forget to omit, you know, they'll forget to include some other costs that they'll just happily tack on later, like extra administrative fees that you don't even understand what the hell you're paying for. And if you notice, in Singapore, every single bike has this thing, this IU unit. This is an integral thing that every vehicle must have. It's the law. It's used to pay for your tolls, it's used to pay for your parking. It is a vehicle identifier of sorts, and they cost a lot. They cost 150 bucks to replace. And these dealerships, when they buy the bike off another bloke, they are gonna take it away after you sign the contract and say, no man, this isn't part of the bike. Technically it isn't the part of the bike, but you should include it. They just take it away and say, you know what, it's not part of the bike. You want it, you're gonna have to pay about 100 bucks to include one with the purchase of this bike. And it's fucking ridiculous, man. And that really pisses me off, because these things aren't cheap, and yet they are required by law. Okay, so even if you bought it, now what? Comes a warranty. You can dream on about expecting the warranty to last or even be worth it. Just don't bet on it. Okay, they offer warranties between a few weeks to a few months, but the thing is, the warranties are either too short or so exclusionary that, you know, it's totally, you might as well not have it at all, but I'm just going to take it anyway. But you know, you're going to have to depend on lemon laws to protect yourself. So if there is anything I can say about this dealerships, okay, is that these guys really know what they're doing. I would say they like to brand themselves as professionals of the trade. And if you have noticed so far, throughout this entire video, I have not once mentioned, okay, a single name or the name of a single dealership, because I'll tell you one very simple reason about the fact of life with buying motorcycles and dealing with dealerships and motorcycle companies in Singapore, is that they love to abuse the legal system. Okay, they'll make threats that you are defaming them, they'll sue you for libel, they'll sue you for slander, and The thing is, they'll actually try and do that. And the thing is, they'll dare to do it. The case may be thrown out of court after a while, but the thing is, the damage is done. They're banking on the fact that, you know what, as an individual, most of us, we are not cut out for a long drawn out lawsuit. Okay, we're gonna have to end up paying legal fees one way or the other. And they're banking on the fact that, you know what, the fees are gonna hurt you a lot more than it's gonna hurt them. And that's what they'll do. So seriously, fuck them. That's why in Singapore, a lot of riders are very wary before, you know, you start reviewing dealerships. You start talking about their services, whether they are doing it right or not. You know, because this kind of shit does happen. You know, the funny thing is, this kind of thing doesn't happen with car dealerships. I have had absolutely almost zero problems when I buy a car. Of course, with my dad. My dad buys the car, I just go with him. I've never had a problem with buying cars, but I've always had problems with motorcycles, and I have a theory on that. So like I was saying, you know, I think that it's really got to do with how unlike cars, you know, cars in Singapore has a huge market. There's a lot of buyers and sellers, and there's a lot of profit to be made there, a lot of competition. Also the fact that if you thought cars were really heavily regulated in Singapore, you haven't seen what it's like to try and buy, own and sell a motorcycle in Singapore. These things are even more regulated. So it really boils down to the fact that at the end of the day, you know, there are not many people that run motorcycle dealerships in Singapore. So you are left with a couple of sole proprietorships, and they know that, okay, they are the only ones in this game. They have the power, they have the say, and they are able to get away with all this kind of shit because we riders have no choice. A lot of people think that, you know, you come to Singapore, the worst thing that you can get yourself in as a tourist is to find yourself at the Sim Lim Square IT department store and get fleeced off by one of vendors there with hidden costs and unscrupulous business tactics. But I tell you, you know what? You guys got it all wrong. The worst thing that you can ever land yourself in a transaction in Singapore is buying a motorcycle. Okay, these guys are even worse than the notorious vendors in Sim Lim Square. Okay, and that speaks a lot. Okay, because at least in Sim Lim Square, these guys, they fleece the foreigners and the clueless. Okay, so if you are at least a foreigner with a bit of clue as to what you are gonna buy, you are still safe. But over here, all these dealerships, they're not just trying to fleece these foreigners who are here probably on a 2 or 3 year work contract and probably want to get a motorcycle in the meantime. They're not only going to fleece these guys, they're fleecing the locals as well. So you can imagine how brazen these guys are. I'm not saying that there aren't any good dealers in Singapore. There are. I go to one dealer come workshop that I do like, and I think he does a good service and is pretty honest. But the thing is, he doesn't have the bike that I want, which is a DRZ 400 SM. So sometimes the bad ones are really all that you are left with, and it really pisses me off because I really want this bike, and the only people that have it are the assholes.